right, so far we have been writing equations of lines. In the information that we've been given, we started off with writing equations given slope and intercept. We then moved into writing equations giving a point and a slope. And now today we're going to be looking at writing equations of lines given 2 points. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to write an equation of a line given 2 points that are on the line. All right, so just like in the previous video, I'm going to teach this a little bit differently. So in your notes, you have some things that I don't want in there, so you can just go ahead and X through those. We, again, are going to be using, although we will get our answer in slope-intercept form when we are done, we are going to start in point-slope form. So I'm going to go right ahead and once again remind us of what point-slope form is. And if you recall from the last video, point-slope form was y minus y sub 1 equals m x minus x sub 1. And please go ahead and write that down. So what we're going to be doing in this lesson, last lesson, again, we were given the slope and a point. So this time we're going to be given 2 points. So we're going to be missing, we'll have a point, but we just won't have the slope. So our extra step in this problem is going to be to find the slope. So we're just going to dig right into problems, and hopefully you'll see after we've added the extra step, it's going to look exactly like our previous lesson. So the examples say write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the points. So my first example is going to be the line that passes through 5, 2 and 3, 6. All right, so you'll notice we have 2 points this time. They did not give me the slope, but we know how to find the slope, so it's no big deal. The slope is always equal to the y distance over the x distance. And so remember, I always like to circle those y's, and we can go left to right or right to left. It really does not matter. I'm going to go left to right this time. So when I subtract my y's, I'm going to have 2 minus 6. And then when I subtract my x's, I'll get 5 minus 3. And then subtracting this, either use your calculator or do leave change opposite. That will give me negative 4 in the numerator. 5 minus 3 is 2. And then when we are working these problems, it is convenient if we don't have a fraction for these ones, unlike when we graph. So if I reduce negative 4 divided by 2, the slope is going to be negative 2. So that's what I'm going to be using as my slope. Okay, so now remember, with the next thing we always do is write the formula. So please just go ahead and write down the formula with me. And then the problem is I not only have 1 point, I have 2 points. So since they both lie on the line, it really doesn't matter which one you pick. So I'm just going to pick the first one because that's generally what I do. So remember, this will be our x1 and that will be our y1. So when I go to fill in the problem, I'll have y minus, my y is 2. My slope, we just found out, was negative 2. And then we'll have x minus the x1 sub 1 is 5. And then remember, from here now, it's just a matter of solving for y. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my parentheses. So I'm going to have y minus 2 equals negative 2x plus 10. And if you needed to do an area model for that, I'm just going to remind you what an area model would have looked like. Sometimes that helps us not get a positive or negative when we shouldn't. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times negative 5 is 10. So notice that's exactly what we got. And then from here, we're just going to finish it by adding 2 to both sides. So I'm going to have y equals negative 2x plus 12. And so that would be the equation of my line. All right, number 2. 6, hopefully we'll do enough examples so it will just sink right into your brain. This time, my line is going to pass through the point 6, negative 1, and through the point 3, negative 10. And once again, the first thing that I need to do is find the slope. And remember, it's always just y distance over x distance. I'm going to circle my y's. And let's see. I think I'll just keep going left to right. I'm kind of liking that. So we're going to have negative 1 minus negative 10. Biggest thing is don't forget the minus and the negative. And then in the denominator, we'll have 6 minus 3. So up top, leave change opposite. I will end up getting positive 9. 6 minus 3 is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my slope is 3. And then once again, I need to pick a point. It doesn't matter which point I pick. I'm just going to pick the first point. That's generally what I like to do. I'm going to go ahead and write down my equation first so that I'm ready to plug stuff in. And then I'm going to come up here and label my x and my y. So now I'm going to have y minus, my y value is negative 1. So notice I do have minus negative 1 there. Okay, my slope is 3 that we just found a minute ago. And then x minus my x value in this part is 6. All right, so now from here, one thing I need to do before I start solving, minus negative we know actually turns into plus a positive. All right, so now I'm going to have y plus 1 equals, if I either draw an area model or I distribute, I'm going to get 3x minus 18. And then from here, we do need it to say y equals. So we will simply subtract 1 from both sides, and I will end up getting y equals 3x minus 19. Okay, I'm going to do one more problem with you, and if you kind of want to even try to go on your own as I do it and see if maybe we finish at the same time, that would be fine. So -2, 1, and 6, 5. All right, so from here, again, we know we need to start with the slope, which is the y distance over the x distance. I'm going to circle my y's, and then again, I'm just going to go left to right. So I will have 1 minus 5, and then in the denominator, I'll have -2 minus 6. Leave change opposite will give me -4. Leave change opposite will give me -8. So again, I would prefer not to have a messy fraction. We do know that a negative divided by negative is going to be a positive. And then actually 4 divided by 8 would be 1/2. It's not 2, because if you scored 4 out of 8 problems right on a test, that would mean you got half of the problems right. So the slope is 1/2. If you want to keep it as -4 over -8, that's fine. It just gets a little messier. So we've got the slope. Now I'm going to pick a point. I'm still just going to pick this first point, but you might, like if you do not like negatives so much, you might want to pick 6, 5 instead. So it does not matter. You'll end up getting the same equation when all is said and done. So write down my equation, label my x's and my y's. So now I'm ready to plug in. Y minus y is 1, and then m was 1/2, and then x minus my x value was -2. All right, since I was dealing with that negative, I did end up with minus a negative, which remember is really plus a positive. And so now I am going to either use an area model or I'll distribute. So I'm going to have y minus 1 equals 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, and then half of 2 is 1. And then from here, we just need to finish it up by getting rid of this -1. So I will add 1 to both sides, and I will get y equals 1/2 x plus 2. And then that would be the equation of the line. All right, so now it is your turn. Let me put some points in there. Let's say that my line is going to go through the point -1, 3, and 2, -9. So at this point in time, would you please pause the video, do your best. When you're done, come on back, and I'll show you how to get through it. Alrighty, welcome back. So here we go. My slope is going to be y distance over x distance. I'm going to circle my y's. I'm once again going to go left to right. So I'll have 3 minus -9 over -1 minus 2. Leave change opposite gives me 12. Leave change opposite gives me -3. And again, you could just use your calculator just as easily. 12 divided by -3 is -4. So I have my slope. I am going to once again circle that first point. So I'm going to have y minus 3. Whoops, I did not come up here and label my x and my y's. Y minus 3 equals, whoops, and I cheated. I didn't put down the formula first. I think I will, just in case we need it. All right, so y minus 3 equals the slope, which was -4, x minus x sub 1, which was -1. Okay, and then before I work this out, a minus negative is really plus a positive. So now I'm going to distribute that -4, or come over here and draw an area model. Either one, I'll have y minus 3 equals, this will be -4x and -4, so I'll get -4x minus 4. My last step will be to add 3 to both sides. So I'll end up getting y equals -4x minus 1. And hopefully you got that same thing as well. All right, we're going to tackle just a couple more problems that look a little bit differently. If you recall, we did have some slope problems that there are a bunch of points that lie on the line. So if you remember what we tackled before when we found the slope, we really only need 2 of the points. So you can pick any points that you want. Let's just go ahead and pick the same ones. I'm going to pick this first one, and then I think I will pick this one. I might have even picked like the 10 and the 70. They're even numbers. I mean, they're nice numbers. More, even though these are even, those are they look nicer. But anyway, okay, so before you do this though, the problem that people generally tend to have, what's in the table, they put things together wrong. So I'm actually going to write those as points. So 434, 858. Okay, so now our first step is to find the slope. And again, if you feel like you're getting really good at these, feel free to just work through the problem and see if you get the same answer as me when we are all done. All right, I'm going to circle my y's. It looks like just to avoid the negatives, I'm actually going to work right to left this time. So I'm going to have 58 minus 34 in the numerator. And in the denominator, I will have 8 minus 4. So 58 minus 34 is 24. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So my slope is 6. So I'm going to write my equation, y minus y sub 1 equals mx minus x sub 1. Hopefully you can write that in your sleep by now. And then I still am going to pick that first point. So I'm going to pick an x and my y. So plugging things in, I'll get y minus, my y is 34. My slope is 6. And then x minus the x value is 4. All right. And then from there, let's get rid of those parentheses. Y minus 34 equals 6x minus 24. My last step is to add 34 to both sides. So my final equation is going to be y equals 6x plus 10. And we got it. All right, last problem. We don't want to forget those story problems in real life situations. So here we go. To ride in a best in town taxi, you pay a start fee and a mileage fee. So for just getting in the taxi, you got to pay something. The situation is linear. To travel 8 miles, the cost is $23. To travel 12 miles, the cost is $33. And that might seem a bit steep, but I believe in big cities that actually you're going to pay that much. Write a linear equation that represents the cost as a function of the number of miles. So it's basically we're going to have miles and then cost. That's what that is telling us to set it up as. So lots of information in here. We really want, ideally we want the slope and intercept, but I do notice actually because this video is called 2 points, they give us 2 points. So to travel 8 miles, the cost was $23. There we go. 8.23. So I'm going to write that as a point. Then it said to travel 12 miles, the cost was 33. So 12 miles, the cost is 33. So then from here, now it's just a problem like all of the other ones. So again, if you feel like you're getting pretty good at solving these problems, just try to work it on your own and kind of ignore me as we're working, and we can see if we get the same thing. So I'm going to start by finding the slope. I'm going to circle my y's. I believe, again, just to avoid the negatives, I'm going to go right to left. So I'll get 33 minus 23, and then divided by my x's, which will be 12 minus 8. 33 minus 23 is 10. And then 12 minus 8 is 4. And then again, when I'm working these problems, I really like to avoid fractions if at all possible. So if you do 10 divided by 4 on your calculator, you are going to get 2.5. So that's what I'm going to use as my slope this time. So now we're going to write down our equation, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. I'm once again going to choose that first point, although you are always allowed to choose the second one. Set up my x and my y. I'm ready to plug in. Y minus the y is 23, and then equals my slope is 2.5. X minus my x is 8, and then I'm pretty much ready to go here. I'll have y minus 23 equals, I need to distribute, or once again, we could definitely draw the area model. Your pick, 2.5 times x is 2.5x, and then 2.5 times 8 is 20, and that will be a minus 20. And then to finish the problem, we would need to get y by itself. So I will add 23 to both sides. And my final answer will be y equals 2.5x plus 3. And I'm actually going to do one thing to finish this one, because if we want cost as a function of the number of miles, it would be easier to use this formula if it actually had the letters M and C in it. So my cost is going to be $2.50 every mile plus that initial charge of $3. So hopefully now you can write equations of lines given 2 points that lie on the line.